Hey folks, this is JR with DIY Prepper. Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the best prepper and survival items at Big Lots. And the purpose of videos like this is to give you an idea of places that you can go to find essential items during shortages and also during the early stages of disasters. And it's also nice to know where you can go to get certain items if you just don't feel like dealing with the crowds at larger stores. But Big Lots is very similar to other discount stores like the Dollar General, but there are some differences. And one of the biggest differences is that Big Lots sells furniture. Now, you're probably not watching this video to help you figure out where to go to get your next bed, but since it sells furniture, you can also find other items like storage cabinets. Storage cabinets like these are good for tools and other items that you want to protect from the elements, but not necessarily keep inside. They also had some utility shelves that you can use in places like your garage or utility room, and they sell nicer looking shelving units if you want something that you can keep in bedrooms or living areas. Big Lots has a good selection of baskets, plastic totes, and drawers to help you keep your shelves and closets organized, and the larger storage totes also work well for storing less temperature sensitive items in your attic or for putting together something like a lights out kit like I did in a previous video. While they do sell your standard kitchen items, I was also able to find a couple of grills. The first was a small gas grill and the other was a tabletop charcoal grill. These would be good to have around if you needed to cook during a power outage or just wanted a portable off-grid cooking option, and they do sell charcoal also. You can also find some coolers if you need something to help you preserve or transport food. As far as tools are concerned, the selection at my Big Lots wasn't the best, but I was still able to find things like vice grips, screwdrivers, and hammers, along with a few pairs of cheap but usable work gloves. They had some other useful items like light-duty rope and tarps. These could be helpful if you needed something to keep in a kit for an emergency shelter, or if you needed to protect your home from water damage if a hole got punched in your roof or if a window breaks. They also had some duct tape, which works well if you need to make repairs on something that isn't likely to get wet, and it makes a decent emergency fire starter since it's flammable. And I was able to find a few different types of super glue, which is good for repairing things like shoes and other kinds of clothing and gear. And they had some ratchet straps and bungee cords as well. These are good to keep in your car or truck in case you need to secure a load. I probably wouldn't use them for anything too heavy since their quality may not be the best, but they could be helpful for things you just don't want moving around a lot. Big Lots sells a small selection of battery-operated lanterns, and while they aren't the best that I've seen, they would be okay for short power outages, and they also sell batteries that you could stockpile to keep your lanterns and other lights running for a while. And although they're probably seasonal, I was able to find some decent-looking solar lights. These are good since you can charge them during the day and bring them in at night to save the batteries in your other devices. If you want a primitive lighting option, they sell candles, which provide small amounts of light and heat. Just be sure to stock up on batteries for your smoke alarms if you're using a flame-based light or heat source. As far as food goes, Big Lots is a good place to pick up canned goods. They have a good selection of canned soups along with canned vegetables, and I also saw several cans of evaporated and condensed milk. They had a few kinds of pasta sauce from well-known brands like Prego and Hunt's, along with some varieties of dried pasta including elbow noodles, spaghetti, and fettuccine. They had some bottled water, which is a good option for short-term emergencies. I like to use them for just regular drinking, as well as a first option to use if we have something like a boil water notice or we lose water for a short time because of an equipment failure. You can also find some other foods like peanut butter and instant potatoes, along with basic ingredients like vinegar, and my Big Lots had both white and apple cider vinegar. I was able to find some flour and sugar, but their selection on those was limited. However, they did have several jars of raw and unfiltered honey, which is good since it has an indefinite shelf life and can be used for medicinal purposes as well. They also had a couple of kinds of salt, which is an essential part of our diet, along with a good selection of spices. Storing some of these would go a long way towards giving your food storage some variety and make eating it much more bearable. And you should be able to find some baking soda, which has several uses around the kitchen and your home. If you need snack items, they had plenty of beef jerky, which is good to keep in kits because of its high protein content, along with other things like nuts and candies, which can give you some variety in your diet. Big Lots is also a good place to pick up medications and first aid items. They have most of the over-the-counter meds that you can need, including a good selection of cold and cough meds, as well as pain relievers and fever reducers. And they also sell most of the common allergy medications as well. I went to Big Lots and Dollar General in 2020 to get medications that were selling out at bigger stores because not as many people shop at those kind of stores, so sometimes they had things that other places didn't. And you can also pick up medications for stomach illnesses like Pepto and antacids to help you if you suffer from heartburn. As far as first aid supplies go, you can find various kinds of small bandages, which can help keep wounds clean and prevent infection, along with other things like knee braces to prevent joint injuries. Big Lots has antiseptics like hydrogen peroxide and isopropyl alcohol. These can be used to clean wounds, but also have other uses. Isopropyl alcohol, for instance, can be used as a backup fuel source if you have an alcohol stove. They also had antibiotic ointment for small cuts and scrapes that can prevent infection and help them heal faster, along with cotton balls to make applying antiseptics and ointments a little easier. If you have dry skin, you can find other things like Carmex to deal with dry and chapped lips, along with Vaseline, which works better on larger areas like your hands. They're also a good place to pick up other personal care essentials like toothbrushes and toothpaste, hand soaps, and hand sanitizer. These are definitely things that you want to stockpile since they can go a long way towards preventing a lot of painful illnesses and health problems that are simply caused by bad hygiene. Like other discount stores, Big Lots has many of the household essentials that you may need during an emergency. They sell basic sanitation and hygiene items like toilet paper, which, as we all know, sell out pretty quickly when people start to get scared. They also had plenty of paper towels, which is another item that tends to sell out quickly. Using these can help reduce the amount of water that you use cleaning rags and have the added benefit of being flammable. If you need to start a fire, they make decent tinder, especially if they have olive oil or cooking spray on them. Another personal item that can help you use less water during an emergency is wet wipes. These work well to clean your hands before you eat, and you can use things like baby wipes for bathing. Big Lots also has plenty of trash bags. Most of these are your standard kitchen-sized bags, but they did have some heavier-duty contractor bags as well. These work well as pack liners and can also be used as temporary shelters, ground cloths, or ponchos. I also found some plain disinfecting bleach, which, while it does have a relatively short shelf life, it can be used to make your water biologically safe to drink. They had dish soap, which, in addition to keeping dishes clean, can also be used to clean other surfaces and works well to remove oil and grease from your hands. Big Lots also sells a good selection of sponges and other cleaning accessories that can help keep your home clean as well. They had a few different kinds of disinfecting wipes, which can help you clean surfaces without having to use any of your water storage, along with many different cleaning chemicals that you can use to clean countertops, toilets, sinks, and other places in your home that you may need to sanitize. Big Lots also had a few different kinds of gloves to protect your hands while using these chemicals, including some nitrile gloves, which are good for people with latex allergies. However, these were fairly expensive compared to some other places. For example, I went to Harbor Freight and found similar gloves available for $8 for 100 gloves. Paper plates are another good thing to keep on hand since they help you reduce the amount of water that you use for cleaning and you can burn them, which is good since they're easy to dispose of and they can be used as a fuel source in something like a rocket stove. They also had aluminum foil, which is useful if you're grilling or trying to keep a baking pan clean, and it can also be used to scrub rust and stuck on food from pots and pans. Big Lots had several kinds of Ziploc bags and Tupperware containers, which can help keep your gear dry and organized. They also had small lighters that you can add to kits, along with larger ones you could keep at home to start things like grills and stoves. I found a small selection of pesticides, which would be extremely important during a disaster, especially one that's long-term. They also had some pet-related items that preppers may find useful. Kitty litter can be used in bucket or camp toilets to absorb moisture and control odors, and its moisture-absorbing qualities could also be useful to help clean things like oil spills. And of course, Big Lots sells pet food, which is good to know if it starts to become harder to find. They also had some more miscellaneous items like toys and board games, which can be used to keep kids occupied and can be good ways to have family time during an emergency. I also saw small travel bottles that you could use to keep things like soap in your kits, along with inflatable mattresses for camping or if you needed to bug out to a relative's house. Between the 3 discount stores that I've done videos on, all 3 of them, Big Lots, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, they're all decent places to pick up household essentials. Just be sure that you price check the items to make sure that you're getting the best deal wherever you're shopping. Dollar General and Big Lots are pretty similar when it comes to product offerings, but Dollar General is better if you're needing tools or something to help you take care of your vehicle. Big Lots is a better choice if you want to pick up something like storage shelves. Dollar Tree, on the other hand, is one of the best places to pick up small quantities of items for use in bug-out bags or other emergency kits. Since many of the items are meant to only be $1.25, they're sold in smaller sizes, making them perfect for those kinds of uses. If you want to see the best prepper and survival items at Dollar Tree, be sure to click the card, and if you want to see more stores I've done videos like this for, then click on the playlist. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all have a good one.